This is Browny's Podcast.
Dear God.
Welcome back.
Look at him. Look at that magnificent man.
It's good to be back, boys. Tell you what, I miss your beautiful faces, even though I saw you last Thursday. Thanks very much for coming down to Mum's funeral. It was a beautiful service, and I have had a laugh over the last couple of weeks, boys. Just in times of grief, I need to go for a run, and some of the shenanigans going on here. Old Burbank, you finally rounded him up. After some of the shit that you said about him, dog, I thought he may have been off you.
He popped his head up and then bang, Vic Pole chopped it back off.
Man, what are you thinking? What on God's earth are you thinking, Brody Pomeroy?
It's Pomeroy.
Pomeroy.
We've been through this.
You
many
don't know.
times.
You don't know your name.
The McLaughlins are not twin brothers. Mate, I know you got four eyes, but I didn't realise they were Coke bottle four eyes. Can't you see?
Geez, Hamish didn't like that, did he? He
No.
really took offence to that.
Nor should he. Let's on the funeral.
Yes.
We saw a lot of great people there. I just heard you say before we started recording. What did you say to Vossi at the funeral? Yeah. Don't embarrass us.
So I saw Michael Voss there, and I said, I went up to introduce myself and said,
Yeah.
hello, Michael. Hi, my name's Brody. I'm the producer of Browny's podcast, which you've appeared on before. And he said, oh, yeah, you said that stuff about me. I said, yeah. And I said, you're more of a pussy in real life than I thought. And he was smiling, and as soon as I had delivered that, the smile really stopped, just like a very sharp stop. And your daughter Olivia was standing next to me.
And so was I.
And I was pretty thankful that she was there because I reckon he was about 2 seconds away from saying, "Do you want to bet?"
Did you say that to Vossi or did you turn and say that to me and Vossi didn't hear? If we're going to be honest and transparent.
I said it.
Let's see how much of a pussy you are with his answer.
I just went a bit quiet on pussy. I just said,
So how did it sound?
Of course you did.
I said, you're more of a pussy than I thought you were. Just really dipped down there in the middle. I think that may have saved me.
When I saw Vossi, I was almost a nufty, Jonathan. We're at a funeral, and I almost started talking about the Blues. We're mourning Mary Muggham and Brown. The emotion's still high, and my ape brain almost went to footy chat moments after the funeral, but I stopped myself.
You did. I'm proud of you. My daughter didn't stop herself. I don't know whether she was more emotional about Mum's passing or her nan's passing or Carlton losing that last game by a point. I don't know where she shed more tears, but my uncle, it's funny, isn't it? Like everyone loses the plot, family included. Like my uncle, who was the youngest of, Mum was one of 10, is the youngest, so Mum was like, almost like a second mother. So he was obviously very emotional. My nana's there, so then he sees Vossi, and and all he needs to do then, he goes and grabs Nan and takes Nana Val over to meet Michael Voss.
Really?
During the emotions and the grief of a funeral. There's the great man. Quick, Nan, you've got to get over and introduce yourself.
And JB, all these years that we've been friends, I thought I knew everything about you. You've kept something a secret, just how Catholic you are.
Yes, I know.
Very.
Well, I don't know if Jonathan is specifically.
I'm not sure the church would approve of the early 2001, 2002 off season. What do you reckon?
I did notice when I was up at the church the other day, they said, confessions are on Saturday night at 5 till 6, and I thought, and I was talking to Pangy on the phone. I said, I'm tossing up maybe going back to the confession booth for the first time in 15 years. He goes, don't do it. Don't do it. He said, the church will blow up. No, it was. But Mum was very Catholic especially. And her uncle, her brother, who was my uncle, said to me, geez, this is bad now because we're all the same. Mum used to always say, now, Jonathan, make sure you go to church. And obviously, she'd say the same to her brothers. And my Uncle Leon said to me, walking out of the church, he goes, we're now. He goes, now she'll know if we really haven't been to church.
And what about Sam Pang? When everyone's to go up the aisle and get the bit of bread.
Yeah.
Mate, Pangy's had 4 or 5 bits. He reckons he was hungry. That's not on, is it?
Pangy said, I should have brought some hummus. Did you hear?
It was obviously you boys being there. It meant a lot to my family. So, but thanks to all the well wishes too on the WhatsApp and all the people that reached out that I don't really know. But that was great. And Dog, you've been through similar circumstance. It does mean a lot, doesn't it? People just to send their support and their love and wishes and really appreciated all that. And thanks for sticking with us after being away for a couple of weeks.
Now listen to that voice of yours, Jonathan. That's the Jonathan we know. But you said you did listen to the podcast last week. But let's just revisit baby Jonathan's voice here.
Yeah, they are. Them and Essendon are probably our two teams that are our biggest arch rivals. And,
Who the f*** is that?
That doesn't sound like you.
It doesn't, does
Nah,
it? It's
nah.
astonishing when you look back and taking a lot of scotch and darts to get to this stage.
Hard work.
Any hits in the larynx like
It is.
Gary Dempsey? Or
No, it did. So when I broke I got my face crushed in 2011 round one by Fremantle. I think a lot of people would have seen that.
Carr?
Not by the K in the game against Freo.
No, sorry, Josh Carr. What?
No, it was Luke McFarlane.
Yes.
Yeah, Luke. And I ended up in hospital for a week and a lot of plates and screws. But actually, I fractured my hyoid bone, which is the bone that protects your Adam's apple. And it was never repaired. So,
No.
So I got, fractures.
did you nearly
there.
need a tracheotomy?
Yes, I did. I tell you what is confronting and scary when you're in the back of a. Because I went to one hospital and then they checked my airways are starting to close, and they've put me back into another ambulance and rushed me off to the trauma unit where they fix a lot of the car crashes, and the ambos are openly discussing how they're going to perform a tracheotomy on me on the way from one hospital to the other.
Hell yeah.
And I say, hey guys, I am listening.
I've only ever seen people do it with a pen.
I know.
on the
Yes.
movies.
In the movies.
Mate, I was myself.
It's
Hey.
one of those things that people think that they would be able to execute just because they've
Yes.
seen it in film. They're like, you
Yes.
know what? I can do a trachea on you anytime you need. I'm here available. I've got a pen, I've got a knife and a napkin.
Let's play an impromptu round of who would you trust most to perform an emergency tracheotomy? Jonathan, you're the victim. You're in a restaurant, and the three of us, you can pick one.
I have a steady hand.
Yeah, you've
Who can you cancel out?
I
It's
don't
me,
know.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes!
No.
Yes, he wants me to do the tracheotomy.
He didn't say that.
You are the more likely that you look like a surgeon. You're a bit of a nerd.
That's bullshit,
I'd probably
dog.
trust you more. I'm concerned that, especially you, Dino, you may have chemicals on board.
I'm seeing three throats here. Hit the one in the middle.
And dog, just no dog.
No dog.
No dog as well.
Dog not known for his finesse over the journey. And I think you need a bit of finesse
Brody,
when it comes to the track.
I gotta say, you must feel quite proud to be the chosen one.
Yeah, I'd get halfway through it and then be a dog race at Sandown. I'd have to stop for a second and pull out the points band.
Hey, Brownlow last night. I always love it at the start when they make a point of videotaping the Armour Guard buff boys. Now they look like middle-aged swingers. They look like they had group sex energy. is what
Herman
I'm trying-
Rockefeller vibes.
Absolutely.
Google that, kids. They look like ex-pro wrestlers from
Yes,
the 80s.
yes.
There's no doubt about that, do they?
They look like every male porn star on a VHS in the 90s.
Yeah.
Do we really think though that that's legitimate? Like, it's all for show. Like, I've got no doubts. That the organisers and the people that organise the votes, and Gil McLaughlin, and Hamish McLaughlin, the MC, I've got no doubts that they would know who the winner is.
Hamish last week reckons no.
Well,
They've got a production to
Yeah.
perform.
Hamish told me Lockie Neal would win, which I told all my friends.
Dog, you telling me that you gave out a tip? I think we're all shocked.
Knock
We're
me
all
over
shocked.
with a feather.
No,
Jeez,
surely not.
it's if you're in front in a Brownlow medal by 2 votes going into the last game of the last round, and the person needs to get 3 to knock you off, that's like losing in a photo finish.
It is, isn't it?
And that's what Paddy Cripps did, and he deserved the 3 because he was huge against the Pies. But what a notoriously
And you know
shit
that-
night!
you know
It was a
that-
great count.
Yeah, and that wasn't the last game of the year. I thought it was, but I'd forgotten that the last game was Sydney St Kilda, which I commentated.
Yep.
So that goes to show
Little
that
switcheroo.
the little switcheroo that
No
someone knows for theatre.
How do you explain the switcheroo?
Yeah, well, they needed to build it up, right?
Or did they just not call the votes for the last game?
No, they did.
They did. They called
What?
the votes.
There we go.
No,
It
but
was
of
out of
course, someone knows. He'd have an earpiece, Gil, I reckon. Don't you? He'd have an earpiece, someone saying, oh, yep, this, that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it'd be organised. Shane Woden is a dear friend of ours. He used to be coach of the Lions, and him and his wife Dee have been staying with us for the last couple of
Brownlow
days.
medalist.
Brownlow medalist, 2000.
Yes, father of Taj.
Father of Taj. Well known to Taj. Won the VFL premiership yesterday with the Casey
Demons.
Casey Demons, and they were fantastic at Icon Park, so well done. But so while we whipped home after the game, got dressed, put his penguin suit on to go back into the Brownlow, and I asked him, I said, mate, sure they know. He goes, I thought they didn't until his year, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, about 6 cameramen just all of a sudden descended on his table with about 3 or 4 rounds to go. He goes, so they obviously knew something, and then he won it 3 rounds later.
Any other takeaways from the night?
The only takeaway I wanted to make was, do you remember when Tom Stewart gave an elbow to Dion Prestia on the wing against Richmond?
And put
it
him
was
into
round 15.
Put him in hospital into another stratosphere. Yep.
He got 4 weeks suspension. But at the time of the game, the suspension hadn't been given, right? A mate of mine rang me straight after the game. He said, mate, you watched Brownlow Medal night. Tom Stewart won't get a vote. And I said, nah, he was that far best on ground in that game that the umpires will still give him a vote, and his penalty will be the suspension and not being eligible to win the Brownlow. And so he had 29 disposals, 17 intercept disposals.
Jesus.
He went at 83%, 737 metres gained, 9 rebound 50s, contested marks. Like, he was by far, if you watch that game, best on ground.
For how many votes?
I waited to round 15. Richmond versus Geelong, 1 vote. S. Bolton. That's okay, because he was never going to poll one. 2 votes. Al Baker. 3 votes.
Here he is.
T. Stengel. They left him out. It goes to show that sometimes if you do an act like that on the footy field, the umpires conspire to not give you a vote, which is theoretically wrong, because if he's the best player on the ground, he should get the votes.
I remember there was always a bit of talk about if the umpires hate you. So there would be certain players the umpires don't like.
Yeah, Greg Williams.
Yeah, Greg Williams. And there was always talk that the umpires hated Chad Corns. Do you think if they have a personal vendetta that they will never give that person votes in that game? So say if they hate Campbell for a multitude of reasons, I can think of 50.
They're human. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they'd go, do you reckon they just go purposely, you know what, I don't care how many disposals you have.
The one that stands out, Greg Williams, hard to argue, for that argument, because he won 2 Brownlows. So they did like him. You can argue, that last round when he should have won his 3rd.
Exactly. He shoved an umpire and then they didn't give him votes.
But I think the one that stands out for me is the best player outside of Michael Voss, who I played with, was Wayne Carey. You could argue that case with Wayne Carey, who was pretty hard on the umpires. He used to go hard on them. He clearly should have won a Brownlow medal. Yeah. He was so dominant for a long period of time. Ooh. So I think that came against him. When there was games that he was just clearly the most influential and best player. No, it was good. Liv was my daughter Olivia. She was so excited. She got Cripper's poster on the wall. Come to the last round. I'm going, Liv, Lockie Neal's going to get the chocolates. Come to the last round. She goes, no, Dad, I'm telling you, Cripper gets the votes. And I hadn't watched that game, so I was commentating the other game. She's adamant. He's going to get the votes. So still, she was nerves of steel at 3 votes when that was the last chance for Cripper to win it. She goes, he wins it. And it was 3 votes.
She watched that game closely because she was sending you all those text messages swearing.
That's right.
She was too.
Right.
She was. Yeah,
also, last night, it was a great reminder of how wild the season was. So many, after the siren kicks, so many close games. This is, again, the greatest season I can remember.
Yeah, great season.
And only 2 games this final series so far.
Yep. Yeah, it's been superb, hasn't it? And deserved winner, Paddy Cripps, too. He's been really... It reminds me a bit of Shane Crawford in 1999. Hawthorn were very poor for a long time, and one guy sort of carried the club on its back and got the Brownlow, and hopefully he goes on to have some success in finals, because he's a sort of player that will just love big finals pressure.
Yeah. Much loved by the outside footy, the wider footy community as well.
Did you see the difference in, shall we say, quality of person when they would get close-ups of the game on the Swans Collingwood game? The difference between the Swan supporters and the Collingwood supporters, it was wild. I don't know if they were just picking out the rowdiest-looking Pies fans.
I think they do. I think because there was no way that the entire Collingwood crowd...
Jesus!
Mate, there was one guy that had, did you see? It was a very concerning look, like skin-shaved hair.
Yeah.
the long sleeves and the footy shorts on, and so there was nothing on. I'm like, geez, that and covered in tats. I'm like, wow,
The players' signatures on him.
It did too.
Yeah, that was
the Collingwood
Did you
players'
see,
signatures.
Tattooed on it.
Yeah.
Did you see Victoria Police reported too, for that 24-hour period, the crime rate drops in Melbourne. They got Jesus quiet down the beat for the boys.
What a game. And if you're a Pies fan, you'd obviously be filthy. But that's the greatest season you could have without winning a flag.
Agreed, Dino.
Yeah.
Agreed. They should be very proud of themselves.
Were you surprised at the non-matchup on Buddy Franklin at the start?
So they started with Maynard, didn't they? Which he's played on taller opponents throughout, but Buddy's sort of they gave Buddy the confidence, I reckon, because he would have gone, they've put this bloke on me, and then he got to
It's
work.
almost an insult. I remember one time that your man, Alistair Clarkson, played Ben Dixon on me.
Really?
Yeah, at the start
Doodle.
of the game, and I was offended. I was absolutely offended.
So offended that you go and you put on a clinic.
They put on a clinic, absolutely. You do. You take it as a personal sort of slight. So I was surprised that for two reasons. The job that Stephen May did on Franklin, and also the job that Darcy Moore did on Tom Hawkins. And it didn't stop their intercepting ability and their ability to help their team flow the football offensively. So I know my man Lepper will, maybe questioning that decision. They did some amazing stuff throughout the year, the Collingwood coaches. But that was just a surprising one early for me, considering the job that Darcy Moore did in the second half and almost won them the game of footy, really, didn't he, when he went on to Franklin?
If the Swans win, Buddy retires, right?
Oh, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
You reckon?
I have no idea what he's going to do, but the fact that he remains unsigned, I've got the gut feeling that he will play on somewhere. And I don't know, if he wins a flag at Sydney, it might not be at Sydney. I've got more feeling that if they lose, he's a chance to stay there.
Right,
You know,
okay.
because he hasn't fulfilled what you want, a premiership with the Swans. But it's going to be fascinating. I've got no read on it.
Do a Croft. Just walk away after winning a flag. That's perfect.
Well, he's still playing. He's still having an impact, though. And I just think, you're
Long time retired.
You're long time retired. I've always subscribed to that. Long time retired, that you don't ask yourself the question down the track, what if? What if I had to keep going? You are a long time retired, even though he's 35, 36, and he loves the game.
But I wouldn't like to see him go to another club.
No.
Nah, there was an interesting point he made in the podcast last week about players, how they're viewed when they sort of leave clubs.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him go to Brisbane.
Yeah.
Because McStay's going to go. Brisbane's forwards.
Sorry, no, what's McStay going to do?
Oh, sorry.
He's going to McLeave.
Is DeGoey going to...
De
DeGoey or to stay?
Just
I think he...
what a headline. Degoe disdain.
I've got no...
On Buddy, Maynard rubbing the oil off his arms. I found that very hilarious.
Oh, that
I
was-
love watching that. And was it those two on the boundary that were almost swinging?
Yeah,
Yes,
they
it
were.
was. I've never seen anyone do that. As a player, you get the grippo on, so you want your hands as gripped as possible. So rubbing the oil off is sort of taking away the grippo on your hands.
It's a bit of a lost tradition, isn't it? You don't see a lot of players oiling
don't,
up. So
man.
back in the day...
Glenn Jakovic.
Glenn Jakovic.
Yes.
Everyone used to oil up, even back to country footy.
Yeah.
Because they reckon it used to keep you warm. I never did it because I was worried about the ball slipping off my arms if you wanted to take a chest.
I had
mate.
that much hair that the oil just... We didn't have enough
So
oil on the
dark.
ground. Yes.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a lost tradition.
But it looks like cheating. It does. It looks really like a pathetic move. I'm like, Buddy Franklin doesn't need oil to slip out of his opponent.
His
I'm like,
arms look sick, all oiled up, though. I gotta
They-
say.
Yeah, mate, it makes the tattoo stand out. It looks magnificent.
Hey, can you just give us a live Magnamicent while we're here?
Magnificent.
Back in a
That's
second.
nice.
That sounds better than the voice record we've got.
Magnificent.
Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. Oh, you guys, I went to the doctor during the week.
You okay?
But I'm all right. But it was a
Get those
specialist.
warts burn off?
No warts. It was a special weed doctor.
Oh, really?
I went to see this Dr. James Stewart. It's Dimmer's doctor.
What does he call himself, though? Not a weed doctor, like a herbal life
No,
doctor.
he's a licensed physician. He's a doctor.
I'm of marijuana.
No.
He's got his doctorate in weed.
He's got that one of many of his branches. Like he's a doctor.
Like a weed branch or like a proper branch?
Anyway, this is the guy that got Dimmer on the CBD oil.
Yes.
And if you look him up, he's Dr. James Stewart. Book a thingo with him. I got a prescription right for a vet for a few ailments.
Oh, please run us through those
Old
ailments.
footy injuries.
Yeah.
Old footy injuries.
Glaucoma?
Sleep's funny because of breakfast radio. My sleep's a bit
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Bit of stress.
Psychosis. You got psychosis?
Yeah, it's like no. I didn't. Anyway,
Backing dogs losing tips.
I legally I got a prescription and went to the pharmacy, and I cannot tell you how surreal it is.
I want to see that.
I cannot tell you how surreal it is
that
to
referral.
look at a jar with your prescription on it, like any medicine,
Medicinal.
open it up, and see buds in there.
Really?
I can't believe it.
Do you love it?
What do you reckon?
Does your prescription have repeats?
Yeah.
Is it written in green crayon by you?
It's a legit. What do you got? It's the government's weed.
It is. And he's actually he's a registered physician.
Laurie
That's
Jackson,
obviously
Clarko,
specialised in that.
Damien Oliver,
Yeah, that's right.
Emma.
Yeah, man. It's wild.
I've taken CBD oil. I haven't taken the buds, but it's really good. I think it helps. So I think it for whatever reason
You feel,
you don't feel high. It's that part's taken
Yeah.
out, so you can still drive and all that sort of
That's
stuff.
the CBD oil.
That's
but
right.
The buds, the flowers. That's
That's still got the good stuff in it.
It's the
that's
real
weed,
McCoy.
baby.
That's
That's weed.
Chappelle Corby.
Yeah,
Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's right.
wait.
Did you take your boogie board with you?
Question: can I take my medicine to Bali?
Keraboken jail, you can.
You can't, can you?
Keraboken.
Keraboken. You fucking boke. But you can't, right? Even though if it's medicine by the government, you can't take it.
I wouldn't run the gauntlet with my life like that.
Yeah.
They do shoot you over there for
Yeah, right, fair enough.
infringing.
Does that mean that you can drive now? And if that you were to test positive to it and you were to say, actually, I've got a prescription for it, here it is written in green crayon on a napkin.
For 9 hours, no.
No, okay.
Imagine if Dino became the Bali 10. He was a 10th.
Yeah.
Oh, with the saddest.
What about the
Sukumaran and Chan and Thomas. How good's my knowledge of what's random stuff at the moment? Herman Rockefeller and Keraboken, and I'm using some words.
Keraboken.
Isn't
It's
it?
Karabakan. You're so proud of Keraboken. I thought you knew you were wrong.
No, mate.
I just wanted to let him
Aussie
go.
slang.
Oh, that's
That's my Aussie slang coming out.
Hey, how's Mal going?
Mel's going okay. He sent me actually something while we're on the topic of sort of medicine. He sent me an email. Usually his emails are quite smutty and dirty jokes and things like that. This said health.
But, can we just appreciate the word smut?
Smutty.
Smutty. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
He sent me one that said health, longevity, diet, exercise trends, heart risk factors, skincare gems, and overtime alarm. I thought this is unusual. There's no joke involved in this. The email said, Campbell, read, maybe why you got reported so many times. So I scroll down and it's a topic about, I've been asthmatic all my life. Used to have the nebulizer, but now just on the
Puffer.
ventilator and everything. Some steroids may be linked to brain damaging changes in your brain. Commonly prescribed steroids, including inhalers from asthma, Ventolin, may be causing changes in the structure and volume of your white and grey matter in your brain. Oh. This is obviously very serious news. They're doing more studies on it. But glucocorticoids used to treat allergies and asthma and arthritis, Crohn's disease, and in types of inflammatory bowel disease could potentially be giving you brain damage. So my old man sent me that basically saying, oh, son, I think you could have brain damage and you can use that as an excuse as to why you were reported so many times. I thought, me, Mel, just keep sending me through the smutty emails. I don't want to be reading that on health.
Oh, mate.
Wow.
Can you go back in time with that?
Yes.
You may be able to get your
Back to the
record.
trophy.
Get them undone.
Go back, get them undone. Could you imagine in a few years' time, we're reading Campbell Brown's tribunal record. Clear. You're one of the fairest players that's ever played in our great game.
And the head of AFL apologising?
Yeah, it's like when the president gives you a pardon late in life.
Well, Mark Evans, of course, the Gold Coast Sun CEO, famously at the start of this year said that they're naming the video tribunal room, when they do a cross to the tribunal, the Campbell Brown tribunal room. That sign would have to come down.
It would have to come down.
The Campbell Brown Media Centre, I think it is. Beautiful.
It is. It's good stuff.
Back in a second. Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. JB's back. It's been great having the band back together.
Yeah, we're complete again, aren't we? We're whole.
Yeah. Dog, who were you getting sick of more, Brody or myself?
No, none. No. I just was missing the great man. That's all.
We were all at Mary McGovern Brown's funeral. Beautiful day in Koroit. Packed church. I like people watching at that funeral, Jonathan. It was quite amazing.
Well, there's some familiar faces down there too, wasn't there? So we had a few people here from work and a couple of famous faces.
Hinksy, who you went to the Super Bowl with and snuck in.
I was wondering why Hinksy, our good mate who nearly lost his marriage over our Super Bowl stories, for shelling out a bit of money to buy Super Bowl tickets, but didn't realise his wife, Danielle. Good morning, Danielle. Didn't realise she was an avid listener of Brownie's podcast. But Hinksy, well organised, got to Mortlake the night before, half an hour down the road from Croydon, stayed at our other mate's place and had everything. Had 3 pairs of shoes, a couple of suits there. Got to Croydon at 11 a.m, the service starting 11:30 a.m, realised no tie. So he wanted to show his respect. So he went into Mickey Burke's pub, the old Irish pub in Croydon, and asked the lady behind the jump. They had to knock on the door because it wasn't open. Asked the lady behind the jump if there was had any ties. She went upstairs, come back about 10 minutes later with a burgundy tie and a full grey tie.
Fugly ties.
I was wondering why his tie looked so
He's wore that grey tie. It looked terrible, but no, it was a good service, and we had. They're sad, but we thought it was funny. It'd be a nice way to end up. Mum was, of course, a greyhound trainer, her first ever dog. Well, a greyhound trainer for a small period of life, and she trained the Modern Assassin, the great Modern Assassin, to a couple of Group 1 victories. So at the end of the beautiful video or photo montage, as you described it, dog, to the music, and then cut straight to the dog race in the church.
Unbelievable.
And everyone was turning thinking, man, he's dubbed over this photo montage with an old dog tape. But it wasn't. They were supposed to be there. It was the Paws of Thunder and the Perth Cup, and then an interview with Mum, which was a beautiful, touching finish to the service. But that night of the Paws of Thunder was $100,000 to the winner race in 2002 at Wentworth Park. That was the night of Nigel Lappin's wedding. And we're at Nigel Lappin's family, big punters. They love the race.
Oh, really?
Well. Absolutely. So that was at Wentworth Park. The wedding was at Lawn. So we're at the pub in Lawn. We're all there. Reception. The race is on at about 9:45. Now, usually they like to get the speech away about 9 o'clock, 9:15. Well, even the Lappin clan was concerned that they were going to miss Modern Assassin's race. So we've had to tell the MC, mate, you got to hold the speeches.
Really?
So half the wedding has loaded into the cars, gone down to the local pub in Lawn to watch the race. Mid-wedding. So, mate, but Modern Assassin has opened at $5, backed off the map into $2.50. He gets up, and it was a huge run, wasn't it?
Massive. I can't believe it got up.
Mate, it was gone with about 150 to go. Gone.
The church was like watching it as if it was live, and we're like, come on. Yeah.
Well, could you imagine about 100 from Nigel Lappin's wedding party in the local pub? He's got up. He's won by a short half head. It has lifted the roof of the pub. Everyone's collected. Mate, it was hilarious. And then we've piled back in the cars. We get back to Nigel's wedding about 10 o'clock, and I've given the thumbs up to the MC, and then the speeches.
How good is that? Adjusting the rundown of speeches to watch the dog race.
That's absurd.
Well done.
I'm not sure Claire Lappin's ever forgiven me for it.
Unbelievable. All right, let's go to the random computer that selects a random number from our WhatsApp thread. What do we got here? Beep, bop, bop. Broads, what name did this come up as?
The Lang Show.
The Lang Show?
The Lang Show.
Never heard
like
of
the Big Show, like the wrestler?
Let's find our WhatsApp group. I wonder if he's been active. Lang Show.
Here we go, yeah.
Hello! This podcast, baby. Got a
The
You know
Lang,
who's speaking to it? You?
the Lang Show. It's Campbell. Say hello,
It's
Campbell.
Campbell Brown from Brownie's podcast.
Are you in a meeting or something, man? Why you sound like you're all covert or something?
I'm in a meeting, yes.
Are you excited to be talking to Brownie's podcast?
100%.
There he is.
We can't tell by the tone.
I know, there he is. How are you, Lang Show?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah,
Here
very
we're
good.
going. Well, what do you think of the WhatsApp thread that you've joined?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
The Lang Show. Who was your first celebrity crush, man?
Ellie McPherson.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Mine
choice,
was
brother.
Pamela Anderson.
Mine
But
was first.
was it? Legs. Yeah.
And what age did you lose your virginity? The Lang Show.
There we go.
16.
Well done, Langy.
Good age.
Well,
Yeah.
enjoy the meeting, mate. I hope this helps.
Cheers, guys.
It took him a while to get that excitement in his voice, but we got there in the end.
Time for
What a world. Now, I was reading...
I thought the boys dished you the other day, if you would have well. I thought it was really
Which
good.
one?
It was
Couple
like a
weeks
stat. It was an informative What a World.
It was.
I
Rhodes.
liked it, and then they polled India.
Now,
And
one
I was
of them-
running along thinking, that's unfair of my man.
one of them was, but the anal beads one, top quality.
Yeah, the chest
Well,
one.
this is along similar lines. I was reading the TMZ article just last week. A semi-trailer driving along Oklahoma freeway, I-40, on the outskirts of Oklahoma. It was an 18-wheeler. It got involved in an accident, right, which is terrible. There was no fatalities, which was fantastic, but the semi-trailer did roll, and what it was carrying spilled all out over the freeway and onto the grass towards the side. Now, because it was a massive 18-wheel semi-trailer, it blocked off traffic
Yep.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
The choppers get up in the sky for the TV, and they zoom in on this trailer that's on its all fours.
Please be dildos.
And what they found was that dildos and vibrators had spread all over the freeway I-40 across Oklahoma, and there were thousands of them. Some were vibrating and some weren't, and some of the people that were banked up in line were
chaos.
getting out to have a look at what was holding them up, and then realising what they were and knocking them off. So there was vibrators and dildos all over the road, and people were just helping themselves to it, and the cameras caught it all. What a world!
I'm
Well done, dog.
I'm so sorry to ruin that, but I just had a gut feel that they were dildos,
No,
man.
you didn't ruin it. It was great. They were. So well done.
John, good to see your face.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks again. Great to be back, and let's enjoy grand final week.
Brownies Podcast.